Welcome to the $3 Podcast. Hello and welcome again to the $3 Podcast, Episode 7. And today we have Eric Buckley, the first buck, the first dollar, joining us. And we're going to talk about why Google search is dying and why LLM citations are the future. Eric, for listeners who might be newer to the show, can you give a quick refresher on what you're building with LeadSpot and Outwrite.ai?
Sure thing. Trav, LeadSpot was begun, obviously with Aidan, Jameson, myself, about 3 years ago. And the goal was to leverage content syndication as a strategy in order to generate leads for our clients. So during that time, we've been able to touch a lot of business-to-business tech content, so about 5,000 pieces. And during this time, recently, we've started to see more and more specific types of content being cited by ChatGPT and being mentioned in AI answers. So we started to pay attention and say, what's different about certain pieces of content versus others, and why are they being selected and kind of prioritized by ChatGPT or Perplexity while others are ignored? So we kind of reverse engineered the structure of these content pieces, and we kind of came up with a consistent structure. We tested hundreds of different types of articles, and we arrived at a structure that consistently is being preferred by ChatGPT, all the other LLMs, when someone does an AI search. So through that, we decided, who's better than to launch a company that can help marketers, solo founders, small marketing teams to optimize their articles, their blogs, their LinkedIn, their Reddit posts for LLM search, for ChatGPT. And that's why we launched Outwrite. So they both kind of came hand in hand. Outwrite's kind of an evolution of what we learned by touching and promoting and syndicating so much of our clients' content over the years. And so that's kind of how we came up with it today.
Why did you want to dedicate a full episode to AI SEO and LLM citations today?
Just because it's so important. So it's absolutely, in our opinion, the future of search. It's the future of how products will be discovered. And more folks are preferring AI to traditional Google search when it's offered. So we believe that as backlinks and keywords and different kind of focuses were the key for traditional SEO, it's going to be structure of articles. It's going to be source authority. It's going to be things like FAQ sections and easily answered snippets that are attractive to ChatGPT. The kind of goalposts are moving, and we're just keeping up with that.
We're going to move on to section 2, the problem with Google search. You've been saying for months that Google search is crumbling. What do you mean by that?
So Google is still the king. Let's make that clear. I'm not trying to say that SEO is dead or that Google search is obsolete. That's definitely not the case. But it is going away. And as an example, this past June, the AIs, so ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, et al., sent about their website referrals. So the citations that are linking folks or sending folks directly to websites increased by 360% year over year. So that rate will never go backwards. And Google search is decreasing. While it's not at that rate, AI search is certainly catching up quickly.
Can you explain how Google's own AI overviews have basically started replacing traditional search results?
It's a great question. So this is kind of proof positive for us, right? So like I've said, Google search is, the granddaddy of them all, right? They started this game. Everyone knows them. Everyone prefers them. But what we found is that, and we've all found them now, right? If you run a Google search, you sometimes will get an AI summary. The AI summaries sit above the traditional links that they offer in their search engine and their SERP, right? Their results. And when an AI summary is offered, almost 90% of searchers completely ignore the links beneath them and only get what they need from that AI summary. That for us is proof positive that Google is slowly going down. Folks prefer to go to a ChatGPT and ask a real long tail type of answer and get a fully synthesized response, or ask a long tail question rather, and get a fully synthesized response, as opposed to several blue links where they have to click through and try to kind of figure it out from there. We don't see it ever turning around.
What do you see happening to the ROI of paid ads and traditional SEO as a result then?
So I think that the downward trajectory we've seen over the last couple of years, click-through rates have continued to go down while cost per clicks continue to go up. I think we're only going to see more of that. Google search, or paid ads rather, depend on Google search being the king. And if that kind of crutch is being kicked out, then paid ads can only follow. And for me, I think it's the best thing that could possibly happen to tech marketing. It kind of levels the playing field. No longer are the page one results the result of those with the biggest marketing budgets, or specifically the biggest ad budgets. Let's level the playing field. Now, if you're creating content that answers actual questions, it's relevant, you're structuring it correctly with tools like Outwrite.ai, and you're publishing it widely from your website, across Reddit, across LinkedIn, and other sites, you will win. You can rank right next to a page one brand with zero ad spend.
Why then do you think so many marketers are clinging to the old model?
Well, I think that number one, there's a lot of uncertainty. With anything new comes a lot of fear. And you've got to remember that the last 20 years, these tactics, the traditional SEO tactics, have been the only game in town. And so many KPIs, and how marketers are measured, how they're goaled today, is based on the results of these strategies. So like click KPIs or impression KPIs, kind of worthless ways to measure kind of meaningless metrics that don't result in any closed deals. So, the shift is on. I'm happy to see it. Anybody that is still clinging to traditional Google SEO, I'd say you have maybe 2 years tops.
Part 3, the rise of AI summaries and LLMs. Eric, for people who aren't as deep in this world, how do AI summaries and LLMs actually choose what content to cite?
This is a great question. So we've gotten a firsthand education on this as we've developed and launched Outwrite, and the way it works is pretty simple. So traditionally, when I always like to reference ChatGPT. They're the most popular. So when they were first launched, they were dependent upon their training data to answer user questions. Now every LLM, Claude, Perplexity, Bing, Chat, U.com, you name it, Copilot, they all have real-time capabilities now, which means that when a user asks a question of ChatGPT, they prioritize live insights from the web if they can find them. So when someone asks a question, they will immediately scan the web. And if your content, number one, answers that question, is structured properly for easy and fast scanning and answer kind of extraction, and it's published on places other than your own website, you have a really good chance of getting picked up, being cited by AI, and being included in that AI answer.
Why are people starting to prefer AI summaries then over old-fashioned search results?
So this is an easy one, and you can experience it yourself. As I've mentioned, you can ask a more kind of detailed question. So instead of what's the best CRM, you could say, now the questions for ChatGPT are more like what's the most effective CRM for a small business with under 10 employees in e-commerce targeting Vietnam. And you will get a fully synthesized answer with just 3 to 5 brands referenced, instead of a list of clicks where you have to kind of go and to each website, click through, find the answer. So it's faster, it's a more complete answer, and the results that you get lead to a decision, at least for B2B tech buyers, much more often than Google search results led to.
How fast is this shift happening? And what platforms should people be paying the most attention to?
So, the shift is happening really fast. So as a comparison, Google is still the king. They sent about 200 billion website referrals this past June, whereas the AIs in total only sent about 2 billion. So there's still a lot of ground to catch up, but that 2 billion that the AI sent represents a 357% year over year increase. So it's never going to go backwards. I think the choice is clear moving forward. And in terms of platforms, they're all racing to perfect real time. And they've kind of, all the LLMs have kind of perfected that in terms of answering user queries. The next kind of mission is multimodal. And I've talked about this quite a bit often. And what I mean is now the LLMs will have the ability to scan videos in addition to text to answer user questions. So suddenly your YouTube videos, any LinkedIn videos you have on your website are suddenly extremely valuable, not just for their meta description, their metadata, maybe their YouTube description, what have you, but also for what's actually contained in the videos themselves. So in terms of platforms, I mean, I love ChatGPT. You can't really go wrong. Some folks, depending upon what you're trying to accomplish, will lean on, Claude, for instance, tends to be better for writing. It's more analytical. Personal preference for me, I like good old ChatGPT.
Section 4, Why We Founded Outwrite.ai. Eric, you've mentioned that your team felt a lot of frustration with traditional SEO. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, man. I mean, so as I said, we launched LeadSpot 3 years ago. Our competitors are giants. So I think our smallest competitor is about 300 million. And we knew that going in. And what we didn't kind of realize, I guess, is just how dependent the buyers in this space and our competitors are on paid media, and how it props up, their organic search rankings, how folks we're competing for the same buyers, how those buyers are finding them, what have you. So, and I also found when engaging marketers and demand gen pros that the majority of their demand budgets are automatically allocated to paid media quarter after quarter after quarter, regardless of results, regardless of costs, regardless of, closed deals or conversion rates that are lagging from the leads that result from these paid ads. Regardless of all the bots, all the fraudulent activity, all the millions of dollars wasted and lost, all of it never seems to matter. Head down, buy more ads, buy more ads, buy more ads. And on top of that, I don't think it's fair that a brand that's small, that doesn't have the money to compete on an ad level or paid ad level, should be looked at any less or be found any less often than a brand that just happens to have all kinds of budget to spend on that stuff. I think ChatGPT, the LLMs offer a really unique advantage or a unique opportunity for small brands to do the right thing, create valuable educational content, publish it responsibly and strategically, and build their own authority. I think instead of being pay to play to find your number one brand, I think you should go on the content they produce, the insights they share, and the authority that they earn.
What gap did you see in the market that made you decide we need to launch Outwrite.ai?
So it was kind of a bit of a personal story. So when we launched LeadSpot again, we needed a tool that would help us to create SEO optimized content quickly. And so there were a lot of kind of AI options at that time. Our launch kind of aligned when ChatGPT was launched almost 3 years ago. And so there were a lot of new kind of SaaS tools that were offering, their claims, we'll review the blogs that you write with our tool, we'll suggest keywords, we'll let you know how you're ranking against competitors. And for us at that time, it was exactly what we needed. So we're still not using that tool. We didn't use it for that long, but it was always in the back of my mind. And so now, as SEO is losing its power, and folks are looking for a new way to optimize their brand and to appear in user searches, it was a natural progression for us to focus on LLM citation optimization and AI answer inclusion.
How is Outwrite different from others SEO tools or AI platforms out there?
So what we've seen right now is a lot of tools, great tools, by the way, and really, really smart founders who are just on the very edge of AI SEO like us. It's more tracking. So we've seen the ability to track your competition, how often they're being cited, how often certain pieces of your own content and your own brand are being cited, and what you can expect in terms of citations and AI-driven traffic. But there were less or no tools that we found that would offer the ability to actually build that content, to build the optimized articles, to make sure that the content is structured perfectly so that you're optimizing your ability to be cited by the LLMs. So we thought, you know what, we're a fantastic potential partner for all those type of tracking companies, and we're very, very early. We saw this opportunity way before anyone else, and it's because we worked with so much content over the last 3 years. So we were in kind of a unique position. We're very kind of lucky to be in that position, but we also saw the opportunity as folks are going to be kind of scrambling and to optimize their content for LLM search. They're going to need a tool that can do it quickly for them by a team that has the experience and knows what they're doing. And that's exactly what Outwrite.ai is.
You have a family run company. How did that shape the way you've built Outwrite.ai?
So everything we do is a team effort, and just like with LeadSpot when we founded that, 3 years ago, with Outright, it was a team effort. It was us sitting around the office just talking about how to help our clients. How can we get them found more? How can we get the leads that we offer them to be more qualified and convert more? And from that, we just kind of throw ideas around, and it just kind of came to be. But I have to say, the unique kind of I guess position that we're in, and I'm lucky to be a part of a company where we have incredibly talented people that can take an idea and know the tools to use and quickly come up with an MVP, a minimally viably product that we could test and see if people would want it. And so I'm very grateful. Those incredibly talented colleagues just happen to be my sons. So I couldn't be in a better spot.
Section 5, what AI SEO really means. Eric, when you say AI SEO, what does that actually mean in practice?
It's a great question because it's different than traditional SEO. So when I say AI SEO, it means being one of the 3 to 5 brands that are cited within the average AI answer. That's it. How can you optimize your content? How can you optimize your chances to be included in that answer?
How is it different then from what most people think of as SEO?
Yeah, so with SEO, it's a lot of kind of strategies and functions to be found as more authoritative by Google search, let's say in this case. And so, you're focusing on backlinks, you're focusing on keywords, you're focusing on, showing up in certain publications. With AI SEO, it's less, your brand's authority meaning everything, and it's more kind of real time answers to user questions. So yes, your brand authority does still matter, of course, but it matters less whereas your ability to answer user questions matters a lot more.
What are some specific elements like structured Q&A or schema that actually matter then for being cited by AI?
Yeah, it's a great question. So again, the whole idea is you want to create content that is structured so that a ChatGPT can scan it very quickly, know what's included in the entire article, know what you're covering, know what your stance is, know what you're answering, and be able to extract the correct answers very quickly and include that in the AI answer it's formulating. So what you'll want to do for that is to make it as easy as possible. So for instance, if if someone is asking, again, what is the best CRM for an e-commerce company with less than 10 employees in Vietnam, then you want to create content. If that is your space, you want to create content that answers those exact questions. Why is XYZ CRM the best for small companies in Vietnam? So that's number one, Q&A headers, question and answer headers. The next thing is you want to include different sections that answer the actual question. So bulleted snippets rather, or numbered sections are a cue to the LLM. Hey, pay attention. This is where the answer is going to be. Further, the schema markup you mentioned has to do with the FAQ section. Incredibly important. You can list an entire group of FAQs. Let's say 5 or 6 FAQs after the article, and 9 times out of 10, the LLM will only source or only cite an answer from the FAQ section that you gave. So incredibly valuable. And then finally, we like to also give a table of contents. This is our secret sauce. We found that The LLMs absolutely love when there's a properly linked table of contents. That way it doesn't have to scan the entire article. It can know what's included from the table of contents. Okay, does that have a chance to answer the question this user just asked? Yes, it does. What section? Okay, it's linked. I can click right into it, get to that section, extract from that section the bulleted snippets that answer the question, and use that to formulate my answer and be done. So it's all about answering actual relevant questions that are being asked. It's all about structuring that answer perfectly in the article or the post that you're using to answer it. It's all about posting to not only your website but to third-party authoritative sites. This is really important, as the LLMs love it when it's posted to a Reddit or a LinkedIn, a third-party site that's not yours, where they can still trust the answer. If your content are showing up on multiple of those types of sites, you've got a really good chance.
Section 6, the value of LLM citations. Eric, let's get into the value of these citations. Why do you call them the new backlinks?
Well, I think because it's the number one factor moving forward to be discovered in the new AI search. Just whereas backlinks were one of the top factors or the number one factor to be found in traditional old-fashioned SEO. So yeah, that's why.
How are AI citations different from a Google click in terms of quality?
So again, great question. I always like to harp on the fact that on average, an AI answer will only include 3 to 5 brands. So they're only going to cite 3 to 5 brands, and it's going to cite those brands or those tools that best answer the question. So if someone that clicks through one of those 3 to 5 brands links rather, it's been proven that it's a much higher intent click. Whereas if someone gets a set of, let's say, 10 blue links from a traditional Google results, and they click 2 or 3 links, it's a much lower probability that they're going to make a purchase, as opposed to someone who clicks one of the 3 to 5 links offered in an AI answer.
What are you seeing in terms of conversion lift and pipeline impact from LLM citations compared to old school SEO or ads?
So again, as an example, with LeadSpot, so we ran a kind of an experiment where for 60 days we created LLM optimized content using Outwrite.ai. We published the content to LinkedIn, to Reddit, to our home blog, and to Medium. And we did this every business day for 60 days. And what we saw, we had 1,500% plus percentage increase in ChatGPT clicks, about 1,400% plus from Perplexity. We even saw 400 and 500% more clicks from Reddit and LinkedIn because of how much more often and the quality of posts we're putting there as well. And now, after 90 days of still running this, and this is just myself, one person, just about 70% of all of our web traffic all comes from the LLMs now. So in terms of, and that's all with $0 spent on ads. So in terms of a comparison, there really is no comparison because for a small brand, a 3-person brand, to now be showing up consistently in every ChatGPT answer asked about our space with no money spent on ads, I mean, I think the option is pretty clear.
Why then do you say that every citation equals a real, verified human visitor?
I like to counter it against how often and how fraudulent paid clicks tend to be. So, I've seen some studies where up to half or more of all ad clicks are bots. And with ChatGPT, yes, they're offering fewer citations or fewer, brand mentions, but they're all humans. Anybody that clicks through and comes to your site through a ChatGPT suggestion is 100% a human being.
As we wind down, if someone listening wants to know whether their brand is ready to be cited by AI, where should they start?
Well, with Outwrite.ai, so www.outwrite.ai, we actually offer a kind of a website AI SEO readiness test. And you can drop your URL in, and we'll give you a report based on the content that's available on your site, based on how it's structured, based on the schema markup, all the details. And that's one way to do it. But I've also mentioned there are several ways now, several new tools where you can gauge your AI SEO readiness. You can see how your competition is preparing. You can see how your market is preparing. Bottom line, whoever you use use something and start getting prepared, because this thing is definitely coming.
How can people learn more about Outwrite.ai or connect with you directly?
Yeah, so we're very active. We're trying to preach the word of Outwrite.ai more and more each day. So you can visit us at Outwrite.ai. You can check us out on YouTube. We're active on LinkedIn. We're active on Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, X, you name it. So we'll be sure to follow up with some contact information.
And now for the good stuff. Can you give us a little preview of what's coming in the next episode?
So next episode, we're going to talk to Aiden. Aiden has built Outwrite.ai, and I would love for us to be able to pick his brain a little bit and maybe guide other young founders on how they can turn their ideas into business reality as well.
Eric, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing with us more about Outwrite.ai and how LeadSpot and your family has grown as a business and as a team. Thank you again.